Uiteindelik Vrydag, nog 'n week is verby. Steek die vure aan en oor die hele kontry. Boetie, sussie, almal saam, oupa en oma ook. Los jou worries by die huis, want hierdie boerejol gaan kook. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die borstelvure brand, en die konsertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vandaan. Wat is 'n braai, sonder aardappelslaai, terwyl maar het maak, en die kinders stokbrood braai. Al pas sy gitaar uit, met die concertina saam. Vanaand gaan ons tiekie draai, laat die stof so staan. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveldvure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. En laat dan as ons opkyk na die sterre en die maan, dis dan wanneer oom Koos vir ons ook stories vertel. Kort voor lang is die kinders bang en al niemand meer gaan slaap. Dan haal pas sy gitaar uit, met die concertina staan. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveldvure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Goeienaand, baie welkom, lekker om hier te wees. Kom ons kry die keer aan die gang. Dis lockdown. Ja, ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die bosveldvure brand, en die concertina praat. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Ons gaan dans, dis lekker Vrydag gaan, waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Waar die kindertjies baljaar op hierdie boerejol vanaand. En waar die bosveldvure brand, op hierdie boerejol vanaand. Voel jy, asof die lewe sonder jou aangaan eendag, wat ek sonder twyfel weet. Jy is nie net 'n nommer nie, en jy is deel van die groter prentjie. Daar's 'n rede dat jy lewe, 'n doel vir jou bestaan. Daar's 'n plekkie in die son vir jou en my, 'n plekkie elkeen het 'n doel gekry. Al voel jy soos 'n sandkorreltjie klein, wat in die grootste duin verdwyn. Jy vat my die hoogste hoogte, in die adem, in die ander in die wind. Ons allemaal is maar sandkorreltjies klein, maar saam is ons Al voel jy soos 'n sandkorreltjie klein wat in die grootste duik jy het my die hoogste hoog gesing die jare en die ander in die wêreld ons almal is maar sandkorreltjies klein maar saam is ons die mooiste ding jy het my die hoogste hoog gesing in die jare en die ander in die wêreld ons almal is maar sandkorreltjies klein maar saam is ons die mooiste ding Just like the street lights lit this town like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down.
Alright, here we are, folks.
Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in us. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up.
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Good afternoon, good evening, folks, wherever you found yourself around this big blue marble on Friday, January. Woohoo! Fell for it there. At least I don't say 2023. I get 2024 from the outset. Friday, February 2nd, 2024. Welcome back to the program. Breaking news out of Georgia, where prosecutor, district attorney Fani Willis has admitted to having an illicit relationship. And there's a super chat from here. That's a membership. There you go. Sorry about that. Membership for 31 months. Thank you for that. Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that to pop up there. Fani Willis, the prosecutor, district attorney in Georgia, has admitted to an improper relationship with the person whom she fed hundreds of thousands of dollars in corrupt payments to be the lead attack dog on Donald Trump in this trumped up, no pun intended, racketeering case that's occurring in Georgia. This election fraud situation that she's claiming he committed racketeering, misusing a statute which is intended to go after gangsters, using it against the former president, the most disgusting and vile misuse of prosecutorial authority that we've probably ever seen in this country. Not to mention, well, there's a few others, but Fani Willis admits that she was in a relationship. This is a surprising breaking news just occurring in the last few minutes before I went live. Welcome, folks, and thanks to you who tuned in late this evening. For those in South Africa and abroad, this is a late broadcast. I had things to do this morning, and I was not able to broadcast this morning, but I knew it, and that's why I set it up in advance. Also, we're going to go right from this with a short break into the Six Nations. It's France hosting Ireland at the Stade de France in Paris. That's coming up for this first Six Nations game, the one that's likely, most pundits and analysts are claiming, will decide who wins the Six Nations this year. All things being equal, that's a possibility. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news at this hour. Fani Willis admits to an improper relationship with the prosecutor whom she hired and then traveled all over the country and the Caribbean on vacations and paid over $650,000 corruptly to this person. She told the judge, please, judge, don't throw out the case against Trump. We got to get him. We got to get the Trumpster. Please, I didn't mean to knock boots, but he was just so hot, I couldn't help myself. Val Cooper, good evening to you. Olaf, good evening. Pierre Orban, Orban, Pierre Orban. Wow, that's Orban is the name of the Prime Minister of Hungary. Interesting. Ants, welcome to you. Dylan Combrick is here. Hester Kutza, Deborah, Olivier. Garrett is back. He says, Sundowner time, Heldenberg. Well, there you go. Val Cooper, I already said hello to. Dylan Combrick. Rainier Dutoy is here. Welcome to you. Olaf Alterbridge, Nick Muller. Who else we got here? And then I'm not seeing Hendo or Erica yet. Ken Aronston, Brian Lawrenson, Ms. Pumba. And it always reminds me of doing Romper Room. I don't know, for my American audience, you might remember this. There was a show on TV, a ridiculous leftist show that acted like children were brain dead. And the woman always welcomed me. I want to say hi to Lisa and Mary and Jane and David and Sean. It was so ridiculous. Alter Bridge is here. Okay, well, let's see what time it is there. It is, it's late for you now. All right, cool. Perth is 2:41 in the morning. Wow. All right, what else? BHPG says, hi, everyone, for a very hot West Coast. West Coast of South Africa, I presume. Ken says, I think Colonel is buzzy. I thought it was 6, but we'll wait for the news. No, Hester, I'm just busy with other things. Oh, you were buzzy. I think you meant busy. Yep, other things. So, but I do owe it to my audience to try to broadcast whenever possible. And Laudine Monday is here. Welcome to you, Brian Lawrenson. And then Jan Filion makes a trip in here as well. Had that 31 months. Thank you for that. It's crazy. This the show is now on this channel 3 years. Wow. This month 3 years. No, April 3 years. It'll be 3 years. Yep. Fanny. Yep. Upper Fanny. Yep. Ménage à quoi here? Vive la France. No. Irlande. Ashley Engelbrecht is here. Hello, Ashley. And Pierre says no relation. I didn't know it was. But yeah. So he followed the money. Okay. Yes, he did follow the money. Anyway, I work a day job as an engineer and play bass in a cover band on a Friday, Saturday. Sometime. Wow, you're a pretty busy guy there, Alter Bridge. Cool beans. All right, let's get to news. Once again, breaking news coming out of Georgia, where Fani Willis, the district attorney for Fulton County, has been exposed after denying and lying about her relationship, and she's now going to find herself on the outs. Washington Post reports Fani Willis admits relationship with the prosecutor on the Trump Georgia case. Fulton County District Attorney Fani T. Willis, a Democrat, admitted that she had a personal relationship with an outside prosecutor she appointed to manage the election interference case against former President Trump and his allies, but denied claims that the relationship had tainted the proceedings. What? She denies it tainted the proceedings? She denies? Never mind whether it did or didn't. Her misconduct here in misappropriating state funds in this vindictive, shrew-like attempt to use and misuse a statute against the former president. She has no shame whatsoever. This woman campaigned about office for this position, running against someone else, and said, well, the previous guy was sleeping around, and so I would never do that in office. Look, I'm not making issue with her sleeping with a guy. That's her business, none of my business. I don't care. What I do care about is that she hired this guy whom she was sleeping with and whom she paid $656,000 of taxpayer money to prosecute Donald Trump on a trumped-up, illegitimate lawsuit. That's the issue. Not that she was knocking boots with a guy. I don't care. But the fact that she had a personal relationship, and because of that, she nepotistically brought him in as a prosecutor, giving him a job and giving him taxpayer money, all of that taints the entire thing. Entire case should be thrown out. Fani Willis should be censured or impeached. Georgia can impeach her. I'm sure she'll be impeached now, and she'll scream like Stacey Abrams, "Oh, you stole it from me because I'm a black woman." Oh. No. It's your conduct here. Look, if she slept with this guy, that's her business. But when she slept with the guy and then she hired him and went on vacations with him and benefited from the money that she paid to him, that's nothing but money laundering. That's money laundering. She took money from the taxpayer, gave it to her boyfriend, whom she was having sex with, to travel on vacations with him so they could have sex in furtherance of her conspiracy against the president. Wow. 176-page court filing today. She called the claims against her meritless and salacious. I'm sorry. If you hadn't slept with the guy and you just travel with him, then there's nothing salacious to talk about. But the fact that you travel with the guy whom you paid with taxpayer money for an illegitimate lawsuit against the former president to tarnish his reputation, to steal the events of November 2024, You're the one that made it salacious. Go sleep with the guy, but don't hire him. Go sleep with the guy, but don't give him $656,000 in taxpayer money for your fraudulent case. My goodness, here's a super chat coming up from George Steinberg for 350 Rand. Thank you for that, George. Yeah, the salaciousness of this is all her doing. And there's the super chat. Thank you for that. Looks like the little bell or the alerts are working again on the screen. We got the zombie chasing after my head. He wants that hair. The zombie wants this hair. All right. Wow. She asked the judge to reject motions from Trump and other co-defendants that seek to disqualify her and her office from the case to do something without a hearing. No, they should be immediately disqualified. But that won't happen because corrupt politicians and judges control the political process in this country. It's time for good men and women to stand up and run for office. People are patriots. People believe in the Constitution. People believe that all men are created equal, that we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If your happiness is sleeping with this dude, that's your business, Fani. But when you bring him in and hire him and give him taxpayer money, you turned it into a salacious issue. Look, if this guy was not your prosecutor that you hired and stole taxpayer money to pay for, and you went on vacations to have sex with him, if that was none of the case, if you were just the prosecutor in this case and you had sex with this guy, away from the case, then you could claim that people are making salacious comments about you that are your private business. But no. You, Fani Willis, are the one who brought everybody into this conversation. You are the one that made it salacious. Wow. She denied claims of misconduct and said there was no evidence that the relationship between her and her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, had prejudiced the case. Are you serious? Denied misconduct? Yes, it is perfectly above board for an employee of the state to hire their lover to pursue something and then pay them an inordinate amount of money, $600,000 for a service rendered while you're sleeping with them. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no impropriety there. Are you serious? No misconduct? Good Lord. You don't hire family members to state positions. You don't hand out jobs to family members. You do not put your lover on the payroll and then say you committed no misconduct. If you want to have a relationship with Mr. Wade, you should have it discreetly, privately, in your own time, not on the job, not traveling with the guy, and not paying him $656,000 of taxpayer money. Get that, folks, $600,000. That is, for South Africans, 9 million Rand. 9 million Rand he got paid. Wow. Benjamin Labaskotny says from the outside here, Chris, seems America is also we are in a lot of crap. That is why good men, good women need to stand up and run for office this year against the machine. Rage against the machine, the demon rat and the rhino machines out there. Rage for America. Stand up and be counted. If you have to spend the money out of your own pocket, if you can afford it, do it. Make a difference on school boards, for state legislature, for the Senate, the state, for the federal Congress, and any Senate seats that are open. For gubernatorial races around the country, please stand up and be counted. South Africans, stop your moaning and whining. Ooh, the DA. Ooh, Freedom from Plus. Ooh. They're not the ANC. They're not the EFF. At this point, anything, including a dead cat, would be a better system of governance in South Africa than the African National Congress, a party that preys on South Africans. Not this kind of prey, but this kind of prey, voraciously eating away at taxpayers and its citizens. 82 murders per day, no electricity, sanctioning and supporting terrorists who cut the breast off of women after gang raping them and then executing with a bullet to the brain pan, shooting innocent civilians in the back of the head while they're cowering next to cars praying that they survive, throwing hand grenades into bomb shelters to blow the limbs off of innocent civilians, burning babies in microwaves and in ovens, torching houses. These are the people that the African National Congress supports. These are the people that they call for while masquerading and pretending that they care about Palestinians. They don't care about Palestinians. They don't care about Palestinians. They don't care about black South Africans. If you're Xhosa, if you're Venda, if you're Tswana, if you're Sotho, if you are colored, if you are anything in South Africa, the ANC doesn't care about you. They care about caters. They care about their friends, their privilege, their perks, their enjoyment of their blue light escorts, the money they pilfer and steal every single day from South Africans, and it's almost no different on this side of the Atlantic, where politicians go to Washington, D.C., or Harrisburg, or Albany, or Tallahassee, and they sit there, and they have their television interviews, and they have their paychecks, and they have the perks of the office, and they have all the special little trappings of office, and most of them, not all, but most are simply there for personal self-aggrandizement and enrichment. That's what it's about. It's not about the Constitution. They do not hold these truths to be self-evident. They do not care about the average man and woman, whether you're wealthy or poor, whether you're black or white, whether you're gay or straight or trans. They do not care. You are a useful tool for most of these people. The number of patriots that serve us in government in America dwindles each and every year. It is time for good men, good women to stand up and be counted and fight for this republic before it is gone, before it divides into multiple entities as a consequence of an insurrection or civil war, which is being foisted upon us by corrupt governance at every level. It is time for Americans to stand up. It is time for South Africa to stand up. Stop your belly aching about the DA. Suck it up, Buttercup. Go vote. You don't have to vote for the DA. Vote for Action SA. Vote for the Freedom Front Plus. Vote for the ACDP. Vote for the IFP. Do not vote for the criminals who are robbing South Africans, who have put an exponentially larger number of South Africans in abject poverty in the past 30 years. When the National Party left power, there were only a few million black South Africans living in abject poverty. Yes, many black South Africans didn't have access to electricity and water, but most did not live in abject poverty. Today, nearly 30 million black South Africans lived in abject poverty. And why is that? Oh, it's Jan van Riebeck. It's the whites. It's the Europeans. No, it's the African National Congress and its kleptocracy, modeled on the Zimbabwean ZANU-PF kleptocracy, and then taking it to heights never before imagined. Shall we run through just a handful of the corruption schemes coming from the ANC? The Vrede dairy scandal in the Free State, the asbestos tender, 252 million rand, Ace Magashule, Zandile Gumeda, 168 counts of corruption in Durban. Minir Palapala, Cyril Ramaphosa, $580,000 illegally entering South Africa, and then the perversion of justice and misuse of state security to hunt down and track down people who have the audacity to rob the president himself with illicit cash hidden in furniture at Palapala. Shall we continue with Dr. Zweli Mkhize, Digital Vibes, or the arms scandal, Jacob Zuma and Sheikh Shabir? Shall we continue? Oilgate, Travelgate, the entire corrupt edifice of South Africa. This country should be soaring today. It was set with a functional educational system for some of the population and the resources to make it available to all the population. Functioning infrastructure, ports, airfields, highways, they all worked. A functioning parastatal electricity, all of this worked. Functioning financial markets, a robust agricultural sector, all of which has been destroyed by the kleptocracy known as the African National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, if you sit on your bum in 2024 in America, if you sit on your bum in South Africa, this is your fault. You are the one responsible. Do not look to someone else. Do not look to the left. Do not look to the right. It's all about the money. That's right. Jessie, that's right. She sang that song. All about the money. We don't need the money. We don't need the money. We need patriots in South Africa, in America, black, white, brown. It doesn't matter. Stand for the Constitution. Stand for what's moral, right, and just. Stand up and be counted. Go to the polls and vote for someone that is not a Democrat, that is not a Republican name only, not a true conservative, and not ANC or EFF in South Africa. It is in your hands, America. It is in your hands in South Africa. Make it happen. Brett needs a huge favor. My step family in their neighborhood want to know about the farm murder crisis in South Africa. I've educated them as best I possibly need someone else who knows more about this than I do. Brett, you have a way to contact me. Reach out to me, and I'll see what I can do when I have some time. And Brett, give another one. Have you read Kill the Boer by Ernst Rhodes? No, I have not read it, but I've interviewed Ernst many times. There you go, folks. There's a rant. That was not an excited rant. There was no profanity. I didn't scream. Just raised my voice for emphasis. There you have it. There you have it. Thank you, George, for the super chat. No such thing as easy money. Pillow talk worth $600,000. The trouble in these people the trouble is those people don't get to vote. Pierre says, I do have the Orban family crest. Apparently I'm in the family tree somewhere. Well, that's pretty cool. Big pump. Okay. Country has 300 million people and your choice for president is sleepy geriatric. It's not our choice, Theodora. It's not our choice. I'm not going to make a comment about the events of the choosing of 2020 because that will lead to censorship on this corrupt censorship platform. But just look around. You decide for yourself. The Azania curse is coming true. Nothing works. That's right. And Brett's got 2 super chats, so I'll give him 2 rings for that. And Leovin haven't been able to do this for a while. Rant fees paid. Oh, Leovin. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, but my rants are toned down a little bit. Just focus more. Naladi's here. Welcome, Naladi. Hester Kotza Brett says, vote in 2024. Vote for anyone but the ANC and FF. Yep. Well, not anyone. Not Black Land Matters or whatever it is. Black Land First. Farmers still transpiring. Yes, they are. They are. We just had one of our viewers' uncle was severely burned in an attack recently. All right, so Fani Willis, there you have it. All right, let's move on, folks, from that. It is late for a lot of people in South Africa. By the way, you may see me drinking this. That's because I finally got some proper medicine yesterday that is reducing the mucus and in my lungs, and so I'm not coughing as badly. Still coughing, but not as badly, so I'm back to the Starbucks. It's been about 3 weeks since I had one. All right, Jan says, good rent. Yep. Maybe I should download that later. I always say do that and then just cut that portion and load it up. Yep. Yep. Brett has a double ear infection and a strained neck. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Well, off to a decent start here for the new month for Super Chats. By the way, we surpassed, January surpassed December. Thank you all for that. That's impressive given that that December is my birthday. Not a lot, but I mean, it surpassed. So fires all over the Western Cape. Where's Paulie? Probably out fighting these fires right now. He usually comes on for late broadcast. Cape of Raging Flames. Another fire burns out of control in Bufuljag and Pearly Beach. Man, oh man, oh man. It took out at least 2 homes in Hungklip in Pringle Bay. A fire threatening Bufuljag and Pearly Beach continues to burn out of control with alien vegetation and a high fuel load hampering firefighter activities. Municipality said this morning that a change in weather had brought some light drizzle, but it was not enough to dampen the blaze. Man. Meanwhile, Pringle Bay had no active fires lines by Friday morning, but burnt areas remained hot with regular flare-ups. Crews are continuing mop-up operations in Pringle Bay, which was threatened with these fires. Last week, the Jerusalem Post reported that South African banks are being used to funnel money to the terrorist organization Hamas. Jerusalem Post research uncovered what appears to be a network of several South African organizations deeply involved in funding Hamas. Wow. Several South African organizations and strawman companies deeply involved in funding them through the Al-Quds Foundation, international group sanctioned by the U.S. and outlawed by Israel, using accounts registered in major South African banks, including Standard Bank, Nedbank, and ABSA. The Al-Quds International Foundation, a.k.a. Al-Quds International Institute or QII, was established in Beirut in 2001 by Hamas members to raise funds for the terror organization through the guise of charity. According to the U.S. Department of Treasury, the Hamas leadership runs all the foundation's affairs for Hamas members who serve on the board and other administrative committees, while all documents, plans, budgets, and projects are drafted by Hamas officials. Additionally, several senior Hamas officials, including specially designated global terrorist Musa Abu Marzouk and Osama Hamdan, served on the board of trustees, part of an extensive network of the Muslim Brotherhood affiliated organizations. And they're using South Africa to funnel money, according to the Jerusalem Post. In response to that, South African banks say they used the Shaggy line. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. South African banks say they didn't help fund Hamas, but Chief Rabbi wants answers. 3 of South Africa's most prominent banks have denied allegations in a report by the Jerusalem Post, which South Africa's Chief Rabbi then echoed that they are providing a platform for funds to flow to a charity allegedly linked to Hamas. Wow. So the Post cited unnamed sources protect their sources. Well, a lawyer says that Eskom and Ramaphosa are in contempt of court. That's right, because they did not follow through on a court order. The government has missed a critical deadline specified in a court order against it to exempt sectors such as schools, police stations, and health facilities from load shedding. The order specified a deadline of January 1st, which has now lapsed by a month. And one of the attorneys on the case, Sifile Buthelezi, says that the defendants could be found in contempt of court, which is considered a criminal offense. Well, they are in contempt of court, just like Bekachile and Dlamini were in contempt of court, or is it Sitole, for not arresting Jacob Zuma when he did not turn himself in on midnight on the 4th of July, 2021. They have been in contempt of court, and unfortunately, that has never been pursued. Those criminal actions have been ignored by the corrupt government of South Africa and its inept judiciary. Well, Cape Town hearing on this devolution of powers is postponed after political parties act like fools. Disruptions and mayhem marred the second leg of the Western Cape Powers Bill hearing on Friday. The second last leg of the public hearings in the Democratic Alliance's Western Cape Provincial Powers Bill was halted after angry members of political parties and civil groups were blocked from entering. Around 300 people were waiting to gain access, and then they just ripped down that barrier. These are criminals. These are criminals. Their actions are criminal. Wow, absolutely criminal activity. Yep, ripping down things, destroying infrastructure. Well, the good party has suspended Peter de Villiers. Now, we move forward on the presumption of innocence. The presumption of innocence, folks. The fact that he's been kicked out of the party does not mean he's guilty of this, but let's be clear. Peter de Villiers, former Springbok coach, unsuccessful Springbok coach, is a member of the Good Party. That's, of course, Patricia DeLille's Good Party. They've suspended him after sexual misconduct claims. The former Springbok coach, Peter de Villiers, has been suspended from his party today. In 2023, the retired rugby coach was welcomed by the Good Party, founded by National Minister for Tourism, Patricia DeLille, and sworn in as a member of the provincial legislature after being picked to replace MPL Sean August, whose party membership was terminated. Today, the party Secretary General Brett Herron confirmed the suspension. Good has summarily suspended Peter de Villiers from all party activities after receiving a complaint of sexual misconduct from a party member. Good's constitution is unambiguous on gender relations and gender-based violence. The Constitution applies to all members. He did emphasize that the Villiers suspension did not mean he was guilty. So why is he suspended? Unless you have sufficient credible evidence, there's no basis to suspend his membership. You have tarnished his reputation, Brett Herron, unless you have credible information. An allegation can be raised against anybody anytime. We don't know whether Peter de Villiers is guilty or innocent, but your suspension would indicate that he must be guilty. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken that action. Peter de Villiers, former Springbok coach, suspended over an allegation of sexual harassment. South Africa versus Israel. A week later, no sign of Israel's compliance with key ICJ orders, according to Philip de Vet. Of course, he's wrong. That is not the case. Philip de Vet goes on, as I did a video earlier talking about this, exposing the News 24 propaganda outlet carrying the water for ANC propaganda with misstatements, diversionary tactics, and outright fraudulent statements in their stories here. Both Karen Mon and Philip de Vet run stories today in News 24 in which they are writing on the news section, but they're writing opinion and editorial. An editorial and opinion not substantiated by the facts. Both are making fraudulent claims. They're claiming that the International Court of Justice had told Israel to cease fire. That's simply not true. And then they parse their language later on. They're saying Israel is committing crimes because more people are dying. No, Israel is adhering to the rule of law. Israel is adhering to the Geneva Conventions. Israel is adhering to the principle of proportionality, and you have no evidence to the contrary. The fact that civilians are dying is a consequence of Hamas operating in civilian locations, not a consequence of Israel violating any conventions or any orders from the ICJ. That is simply fiction and lie on the part of News 24's journalists. Here's the other story. This one's from Karen Mon. U.S. court confirms genocide case against Israel is plausible. But that's a lie. That's a lie, Karen Mon. That's simply not factually true. No wonder Jacob Zuma went after you. That's factually not true. If this is what you call reporting in a news section when it should be in the op-ed, that is simply not true. A U.S. court did not make that conclusion. A Obama-appointed judge who dismissed the case made the fraudulent claim that it was plausible and said the ICJ said it was plausible. The ICJ never said that. That's a lie. And this newspaper, or purported newspaper, News 24, prints lies rather than facts. We will expose all frauds every time we find them. February is real, folks. The fuel prices are getting jacked up again in South Africa. Petrol and diesel price hikes expected this month. Month-end data from the Central Energy Fund shows that petrol is likely to rise between 72 and 75 cents. Wow. Based on unaudited data. So why don't you just let the free market control the price instead of the government setting the price? Well, economic freedom fighters, they're like a bad penny. They never go away. They just keep on trying their nonsense. And what am I talking about? Juju Malema and his merry band of prison suit wearing jumpsuit clowns intend to go to the State of the Nation address despite the fact that they've been sanctioned and not allowed to go. They're trying end runs around the judicial system, clogging the courts now with their silliness. Unbelievable. EFF in court bid to interdict Parliament from applying House rules at the State of the Nation address. Arguing for the Parliament, advocate Ismail Jamie said the EFF's behavior had been clear over the last few State of the Nation addresses. We have all seen what the EFF does at the State of the Nation address. It is violent and thuggish and not welcome at a social event, let alone the State of the Nation address. Their rights are not being stifled. There are debates and replies to the SONA. Also, the premise that these rules target only their rowdy behavior is wrong. This only applies to joint settings. Yep. So, yep, exactly right. That's exactly what the EFF are. The Democratic Alliance has given Cyril Ramaphosa until next week to act against Deputy President Paul Matashile, who's being exposed day after day in purportedly corrupt dealings by News 24. The DA has given President Ramaphosa until next Wednesday to act against alleged corruption leveled against his second in command, Paul Matashile. Again, Paul Matashile has presumption of innocence, but boy, the evidence mounting and mounting against him is pretty epic. Brett Sesson's given another super chat. I haven't seen it come up yet. Cyril Ramaphosa wins a round as Telecom sues over shady deals. So, CR continues. The Registrar of the Pretoria High Court has issued an order granting the Special Investigating Unit and President Ramaphosa leave to appeal an earlier blocking an investigation into old shady telecom deals. And there's the super chat from Brett for $1.99. Yes, I did hear about the explosion in Kenya. It's massive. I actually saw a video of it, and I will be talking about that as we get to East Africa. Yep. All right. Obviously not. Silly comment, but Chris is hardly unfamiliar with danger. What's this? What did Light Rain say? Oh, yeah, no, people asked me about doing something with Anton Cohn. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I reached out and tried to interview him a couple years ago and never got a response. Maybe he didn't get the message. Anyway, so yeah, but that would be cool. Somebody needs to remind me of that when it's time. The minimum wage is being jacked up in South Africa, 8.5% above inflation, according to what they claim the inflation rate is. Is somebody going to compensate the employers, now forced to pay employees more, even though they're not making more money? The national minimum wage, including for domestic and farm workers, has been risen by 8.5% to 27.58 Rand an hour from March 1st. To put this in context for my global audience, particularly for my American audience, 27 Rand 58 cents is about $1.50. $1.50 an hour. That's the current wage for minimum wage in South Africa. Well, after the Cape Town attack, people are suing Google over directing them on Google Maps through the Cape Flats. An American couple suing Google after they were attacked at Nyanga intersection while following directions on Google Maps. They argue that Google knew the dangers of the route and failed to avoid or warn users. Agreed. I agree. Yep. Jason and Catherine Zolatz were attempting to navigate Cape Town International Airport when they were robbed at gunpoint at the infamous Nyanga intersection near the airport in October. In court papers filed by the couple in a California court on January 30th, the couple claimed that Google knew the route was dangerous and have a responsibility to protect their users, but failed to protect or warn them of the risk of the route. Absolutely. Google did not take any action on that nonsense until after a death and after a shooting of an American. Yeah, the British person was killed. Turning our attention from South Africa to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is not really democratic. It's not really a republic. It is in the Congo, however. The President Tshisekedi pleads with the African Union and the United Nations to sanction Rwanda and the M23 rebel leaders. Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi has appealed to the UN and African Union to sanction Rwanda leaders and the rebel group M23. He said that for 30 years, the DRC has not known peace in the East, particularly in Kivu, and that is a true statement. This conflict fueled, of course, by actions in neighboring Uganda, in particular in Rwanda. Well, how many engineers is Eskom crowdsourcing because they've fired all their talented, qualified engineers? Well, Eskom has hired 38 skilled engineers and technicians on a contractual basis as part of their crowdsourcing initiative, seeking individuals to help rebuild the company's skills. Of course, as soon as you get them back in shape, they'll dump you because you're white, buddy. You might not look in the mirror and realize that you're white. Eskom's crowdsourcing, the corrupt Eskom. There's Dirk Herman, Solidarity CEO, during a media presentation announcing the organization had sent Eskom, the department, its list of skilled engineers and technicians. Yep, Solidarity said we had a proposed turnaround agency at a collective experience of 5,500 years working in the power sector. Among them were qualified international project managers and internationally sought-after specialists in their field. Altogether, they boasted over 400 accredited qualifications, of which 14 were PhDs in engineering-related fields. Solidarity said some of the people were willing to assist without pay. According to Eskom, no applicants who used its online crowdsourcing facility had volunteered to contribute their skills without payment. Well, Eskom doesn't want you if you're white, or if you're Indian, or if you're colored. 3 dead, 270 injured in that Kenyan explosion, folks. Wow, a huge fire in the Kenyan capital. Unbelievable explosion here. At least 3 people were killed and more than 270 injured in a massive fire when a truck laden with gas exploded in the Kenyan capital. Firefighters managed to bring the blaze under control by after more than 9 hours after it erupted. Explosion ignited a huge ball of fire that spread widely, government spokesman Isaac Mawara said. The inferno further damaged several vehicles and commercial properties, including many small and medium-sized businesses. 271 were admitted to various hospitals. My goodness. The fire broke out just before midnight on Thursday in the neighborhood southeast of the capital. Wow. I actually have that explosion somewhere. Let me see if I can find it, if it's here. There it is. Yeah. Give me a second here. And I'll bring it over here so you can see it. This is crazy. Hang on a second. Here we go. That is hectic, folks. Look at that explosion. That is hectic. That is something else. Woo! Man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. Brett will send me a message from Facebook about the farmer. Okay, you can respond with recording that I can show my stepfamily. Okay. USA has a black man in the Supreme Court. Israel has 2 Arabs in the Supreme Court, yet they're racist and apartheid nations. Sick of this, sick of the lies. I'm with you, Brett. I'm with you. ANC setting the stage, outside forces wanting regime change. Yeah, no, they're claiming people want regime change. Oh, the evil Americans are going to try to overthrow the South African government. No, voters are going to overthrow the South African government in May. That's what's going to happen. Seems 11 of the fires in the Overberg started at the same time. Yeah, no, it's no doubt. There's arson involved. That happens too. Yeah. What else? Folks, we're here for the news. Discourse and debate, please maintain mutual respect. Is somebody being rude? Thank you, Chris, for cleaning that up. Chris doesn't, he's a spanner. Thank you for doing your job. Rhino Palm, hey, good evening to you. Okay. All right. What else we got here in the chat? Google will go full circle and have dangerous areas on the map labeled here be dragons. Here be dragons. They complain about skill depletion but refuse to hire white in any color. Exactly. That's what I was getting at. Yep. Powder keg has been lit outside the EU Parliament. Wait for it. Okay. Burkina Faso's coup leader says Russia is going to provide all the weapons that Burkina Faso needs. Well, there you go. Yep. As the West snubs the military putschs. Burkina Faso's coup leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, 34, said his country had to rely on Russia, Iran, Turkey, South Korea, and China because the United States, France, and their allies refused to sell lethal weapons to them. It went as far as blocking the delivery of weapons bought elsewhere. Captain Traoré, a former UN peacekeeper in Mali, said Russia would give his country whatever it needed. With Russia, there's no equipment that we would want to pay for with them that they don't sell. Others place restrictions on us. There are many countries, China, Turkey, South Korea, and so on, that have no restrictions. Yeah. And they're arms dealers, and they're guilt for the illicit use of those weapon systems by criminals against citizens around the world. Nigeria has implemented a immediate ban on styrofoam and single-use plastic. This is lunacy because people are pigs. Now you can't have plastic bags. The Nigerian state of Lagos has implemented an immediate ban on styrofoam and single-use plastics in response to the environmental challenges posed by indiscriminate distribution and usage, which has significantly impacted the state's drainage systems and wider ecosystems. Instead of banning plastic, how about people actually dispose of it properly and allow it to be recycled and or put in landfills where it's of use? No, we're going to ban plastic, which is a very useful sanitary product. Well, the United Nations agency that was hiring Hamas terrorists who murdered people in Israel, the clues were there all along, says the Wall Street Journal. The Western-funded group provided life-saving aid in Gaza and has long struggled to defend its neutrality from militants. For years, international relief workers and the Israeli military have reported weapons caches occasionally found in schools operated by UN Relief and Works Agency, an organization that for decades has provided schooling, healthcare, and other assistance to Palestinian refugees. They learned of underground tunnels beneath UNRWA facilities and the theft by Hamas of agency-provided fuel and aid. Some had run-ins with teachers over textbooks promoting the hatred of Jews and Israel. So there you go. In 2014, part of the parking lot at the UNRWA headquarters in Gaza began sinking, likely from Hamas tunnel dug out beneath. No one talked about what was causing the collapse, but everyone knew. Of course, the United Nations has facilitated the murder of Jews for decades. The United Nations is guilty and has blood on its hands. Instead of South Africa taking Israel to the International Court of Justice, South Africa should be filing a case against the United Nations itself for fueling terrorists, for hiring terrorists, for facilitating terrorists in Gaza. That is the United Nations. They are the terror sponsoring organization. Iran-backed militias say, hey, we're coming after U.S. targets. They vow to continue attacks on U.S. forces as the White House cowardly sits by deciding what to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a week ago when 3 black American Reserve Army members were murdered at Tower 22. And what has Joe Biden and his regime done since then? Nothing. Nothing has been done. No one has paid a price for the murder of 3 American soldiers at a northeastern base in Jordan. No one. No one. The Iran-sponsored terrorist who murdered those Americans with a drone got away with it and will continue to get away with it as long as this callow White House remains in control of this nation's destiny. November, go to the ballot and change the destiny. Unbelievable. Well, Malaysia has reduced the sentence of its former prime minister who was convicted of massive theft. Malaysia reduced the sentence of Najib Razak, disgraced ex-prime minister. He's been set for release in August 2028, and his fine is reduced to a quarter of its original amount, a move that's drawing criticism from observers and citizens. The authorities in Malaysia have halved the sentence of Najib Razak, a former prime minister convicted of stealing millions of dollars from a government fund. The leniency for Mr. Najib comes after weeks of speculation in Malaysia that he might be pardoned by King Sultan Abdullah. But many analysts say it's unlikely that Mr. Najib, who served only 17 months of his term, will receive any form of clemency because he's still facing 3 continuing criminal cases related to what is known as the 1MDB scandal. Yep, his fine has been reduced to $11 million. Well, we'll see what happens. North Korea testing more nuclear-capable weapons. More cruise missiles as Kim Jong-un calls for war readiness. Hey, there's the portly Kim Jong-un himself. Yeah, and his portly little military friend next to him there. South Korea's military said it detected North Korea firing multiple cruise missiles into waters off its western coast today, adding to a provocative run of weapons testing in the face of deepening tensions with the United States, South Korea, and Japan. North Korea, the creation of Democrats and leftists, communist sympathizers who tolerate its behavior. Speaking of Orban, we have, of course, Hungary. European Union leaders agreed to a $54 billion package for the grifter-in-chief Volodymyr Zelensky as Hungary's Orban backs down. European Union leaders agreed to a $54 billion aid package yesterday, locking in the financing for Kiev for the next 4 years and overcoming weeks of opposition from Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. The decision is a major boost for Ukraine, where it will all be put in the pockets of corrupt criminals like Volodymyr Zelensky. It could have started a short run of funds in coming weeks to pay for salaries, pensions, and other basic services. So, European taxpayers are paying for the salaries of government employees in Ukraine. Why? Why are they paying for salaries and the operations of the Ukrainian government? That's the responsibility of Ukrainians. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the vile behavior of leftist hate wankers all over Europe continues. The British Broadcasting Corporation, one of the most famous propaganda outlets in the world, has a staffer who calls Jewish people Nazis and parasites and calls white people a virus in disturbing social media posts. A BBC staffer is under fire for a string of anti-Semitic Facebook posts in which he referred to Jewish people as Nazi apartheid parasites and called white people a virus. Dawn Cueva, senior scheduling coordinator and playout planner at BBC Three, made many of the troubling since-deleted posts over the last few months. In one rant, she called Jewish people Nazi apartheid parasites and accused them of funding a hollow hoax. She also made several posts criticizing Israel and Zionism, including one in which she referred to a bunch of subcontinental European melanin recessive Caucasian Geopolitical. Wow, I'm not going to finish the rest of that. What a disgusting, vile piece of human sludge. What a racist. There she is right there, Dawn Cueva. Wow. She used to work for A&E Networks, UK TV, and Disney. Of course, a racist piece of human filth like this would work for Disney. Who else? That's where they're welcome. Who else? Disney. Wow. BBC, Disney, no difference. Propaganda and hatred for all that is good and moral. U.S. lawmakers, they are calling on Hungarian leader Viktor Orban, who we just mentioned, to immediately approve Sweden's NATO membership. Hungary has agreed to approve it, but they want immediate action. A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers urging Hungary to immediately ratify Sweden's application, saying patience with the Central European country is wearing thin as it continues to delay the approval of Nordic nation. It's the only one of 31 countries that haven't approved this race to include Sweden in the next global conflict. We already got Finland roped in. Well, England versus Italy versus England, Ireland, and France. Those are your games. Scotland and Wales for the Six Nations. The Red Roses kicked themselves to winning start in Six Nations. Yep, there you go. So, where the game will be won. So they're saying England will win against Italy, and I think that's a pretty easy call to make. It's the France-Ireland game. It's a challenge, and since it's at the Stade de France, odds are France will win it. Well, President Biden ignored alarms about the Houthis in order to pursue nuclear talks with Iran, according to a Yemeni official. Can we trust a Yemeni official? I don't know. Folks. The Biden administration and its partners in Europe ignored warnings about the growing danger posed by Houthi rebels because they were fixated on pursuing a nuclear deal with Iran, handing over billions in cash for Jackass Joe's little, personal mission to enrich the nuclear uranium resources for the Iranians. I don't know what the plan is here. Ahmed Awad bin Mubarak, who represents the United Nations, recognized the Yemeni government, said the U.S. and Europe prioritized nuclear negotiations with Tehran over the worsening security situation in Yemen and the expanding military capabilities of the Iran-backed Houthi rebels. Mr. Mubarak, a former Yemeni ambassador to the U.S., said he and other officials in his country urged the U.S. and Europe to take a tougher stance against the Houthis, but it became clear nuclear negotiations were far more important. It was all about the nuclear program. Yep. Absolutely. Well, of course, Jackass Joe has no idea what he's doing. He's been wrong on every single foreign policy decision ever made since he entered the Senate in 1972. Fani Willis! She was subpoenaed by House GOP today after admitting that she was in the relationship with Nathan Waite. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan says Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has failed to comply with two earlier requests for documents. The subpoena obtained by NBC News is part of a broader probe by Jim Jordan and House Republicans into whether Willis used federal funds in conducting her more than 2-year investigation into former President Trump, who was indicted in Fulton County last year on charges that he attempted to overturn Georgia's 2020 choosing results. Trump, of course, has pled not guilty. And there's Fani, along with Representative Jim Jordan. Fani, you're in trouble. The FBI, surprisingly, shock, not. The FBI deleted records related to the anti-Catholic memo, according to Chuck Grassley, the senior senator from Iowa. Republican lawmakers in the Senate Judiciary Committee say they are seeking action and accountability after discovering new details and discrepancies surrounding an anti-Catholic memo prepared by analysts last year in Richmond, Virginia field office. In a letter spearheaded by Senator Chuck Grassley to FBI Director Christopher Wray, the Iowa Republican and his colleagues asked about revelations that top FBI officials ordered analysts to permanently delete files related to the memo which identified traditional Catholics as potential domestic terrorists. So the FBI, which denied that they did that, then they were caught, the memo was exposed, now they've deleted it, and this is a criminal act. This is a criminal act. You cannot delete records like that. This is a criminal act. Unbelievable, folks. Well, an advocate is upset, or advocates are upset about the Veterans Administration response to LGBTQ harassment incidents. Advocates are criticizing Veterans Affairs leaders for what they say is a lackluster response to a growing number of anti-LGBTQ incidents within the department. Earlier this week, staffers at the Portland VA Medical Center in Washington found a flyer posted in a public elevator mocking department diversity efforts, claiming that leaders only want to help veterans who are gay or at least members of one of the approved minority groups promoted endlessly in the name of eliminating racial divisions. Signs stating we serve all who serve were also torn down in parts of the hospital, and handouts with suicide prevention resources specific to LGBTQ veterans were thrown into the trash. Well, that sort of behavior is unnecessary. People should not be doing that. Well, we now know what caused the death of those 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans who were watching the game and froze to death. Well, drugs. Kansas City Chiefs fans found dead had 3 times the lethal amount of fentanyl plus cocaine and THC in their blood. Initial toxicology reports on the 3 Kansas City fans that were found frozen and dead in a friend's yard found cocaine, THC, and 3 times the amount of fentanyl that is enough to kill. The families of David Harrington, Clayton McGeeney, and Ricky Johnson, who were found dead outside their friend Jordan Willis's Kansas City home on January 9th, confirmed that police have the initial reports on illicit drugs in the dead men's system. Wow. A family member who asked to remain anonymous tells me cocaine, fentanyl, and THC showed up in the preliminary results. What the heck is wrong with people? Do we have empathy, or do we feel badly for these guys who did drugs? Somebody put it in their drink, they didn't know about it. Former Trump advisor praises Joe Biden's economy. I was wrong, says Larry Kudlow. Former Trump economic advisor Larry Kudlow conceded that his prediction of a looming recession was wrong and admitted that the U.S. economy is doing much better than expected under President Joe Biden. I was wrong about the slowdown recession, so was the entire forecasting fraternity. Well, Larry, it's all smoke and mirrors. We're doing it on debt. And when it all comes crashing down, then you will have been right. Joe Rogan gets a new deal, $250 million from Spotify for people to listen to his boring podcast. Hit show to be distributed broadly, including on YouTube, rather than exclusively on audio streaming service. Spotify has reached a new deal with star podcaster Joe Rogan, that will allow his hit show to be distributed broadly. The new deal worth $250 million over a multi-year term, according to people familiar with the matter. Under the new license agreement, Spotify will sell ads for and distribute the Joe Rogan Experience across several podcast platforms. Joe Rogan Experience has released more than 2,200 episodes. This is me listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. Boring. Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish, the now country singer, former pop singer, apparently got arrested for drugs. And his ex-girlfriend, Kate Quigley, says D-bag. She shades the D-bag after drug arrest. All I can say is karma. Yep. Hours after news broke that the Wagon Wheel singer was arrested in Tennessee on a minor drug offense, his ex-girlfriend, comedian Kate Quigley, seemingly reacted with two less than empathetic tweets. Yes, I've heard. All I can say is karma. Less than an hour later, she shared another thought, this time accompanied by a bikini selfie that captured her winking while her tongue was sticking out. Mood when you hear your D-bag ex got arrested. Karma. Well, there's Darius Rucker in his arrest photo. The couple dated for less than a year back in 2020 after he and his estranged wife Beth announced they were splitting up after 20 years of marriage. There she is. Rucker, 57, was charged yesterday with 2 counts of simple possession and casual exchange of a controlled substance and 1 count of violation of state's vehicle registration law. He was released on a $10,500 bond. Darius Rucker is fully cooperating with authorities relating to the misdemeanor charges, his lawyers said. Well, don't use drugs, and you won't be pulled over for that stuff. There you have it, folks. There you have it. So, today, Friday, the 20, I keep saying I'm stuck in January, the 2nd of February, 2024. All right, let's go back to what we got here in the chat here and see what people had to say. Don't forget, after this, folks, let me see if I can actually direct us to that very quickly. So, let's see, customization. And I want to redirect to the rugby on the other channel. What's going on here? There we go. Got it. I had to put the exact thing in. Wow, that's annoying. YouTube hides my channels. I don't know why you guys do that. They showed me a bunch of other channels that weren't even related. I don't know what the comment was that Light Rain was talking about. You'll have to go full circle. Yep. Okay, that's where we were. Manash Kwasa, I wonder what Beko and Madiba would say about ANC leadership. Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Night Owls is back. No, Bebop Williams is not Night Owls. It's just the late news. We'll see if Night Owls gets back sometime soon, but not in the near future, not for the next few weeks. I've got things going on. Tony Nage says, I learned something new from Mexican after a question. Mexico does not deal with China in any form. There is not a single thing that's made in China, Mexico. Yeah, I don't know that that's true. It's almost impossible to have any products without having products from China. They manufacture everything. So also, we know that China funnels fentanyl through Mexico. So that may not be official, but Mexico is still is a conduit. So Iran has put the word out not to touch any American. They sent the general to tell all factions not to attack USA. They're scared. That's why. I'm not aware of that. They're still shooting at our missiles at our ships in the Red Sea. Six Nations start today. That's right. After this, I'll be live on Rugby Ascendant, where Ireland is playing France at the Stade de France. That's a 10 p.m. South Africa game. That is a 8 p.m. in the UK and 9 in Europe, 3 p.m. here. All right, what did Dylan say? Okay. All right. Now, lady says, thanks largely to the deluge of what passes for news, there is mass psychosis, conspiracy, mainstream media equals madness. Truth is becoming an illusion. That's why I say truth is the counter-revolution, folks. Truth is the counter-revolution. I need to make some merch with that. Truth is the counter-revolution. Yep. Dang load shedding. Well, stolen viewership of France, Ireland. That blows. What? I don't know what you're saying up here. Are we going to watch the game? Andre says, Chris, could you unpack a most interesting topic given your experience? What strategy are Israel following militarily? Clausewitz, Giovanni, Sun Tzu, Patton, perhaps Scipio, your thoughts? Well, that's the Andre. I'd have to think about that for a second. Israel is fighting a conflict unlike any other conflict. The thing that it most closely resembles, in my mind, is Stalingrad, or Warsaw. Maybe that's it. Warsaw, when the Nazis fought against the Polish resistance, the Jews stood up in the ghetto and everyone sat back. The Soviets stopped their attacks so that the Germans could exterminate the Jews. The Soviets were complicit in that. Maybe Warsaw and the ghetto, the 44 Warsaw Uprising, that might be the closest thing to this. I mean, this isn't something that militaries typically do. So Jomini, Clausewitz, Sun Tzu, Patton did not anticipate these sort of things. It's a tough one. I'd have to think about that a little bit there. But a good question, Andre. Thank you for the question. The house where the football fans died is owned by HIV researcher. The bodies were in his yard for 2 days. He said he was sleeping and didn't notice the bodies. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe they're covered in snow. But, I mean, the whole thing is fishy. The whole thing is fishy. Andre says, sorry, neither guys. Khan and the Hun relied on mass formations. That won't work. Oh, yeah. No. You're right. That's not the same thing. It was a similar situation in the winter of 77 at a party. Everyone got really drunk, and I was the only one that noticed Mikey was in the house. I found him passed out outside -20. Well, thank God you got him there, Tony. Saved his life, and he never even knew. Yep. Wow. Only stuff made in China is bought from USA, he told me. That's not true, Tony. I've lived all over the planet, and I've not lived in Mexico. I've been to Mexico, and I bought some things that were actually made in China. A couple touristy things, from when I was in down on the Yucatan Peninsula. But it was 20 years ago. Cape Town is branch of... What's this city's branch? I have no idea what Andre is saying. Sue Walsh, hey, when you have a chance, I would love to hear what you think of the interview posted above. What interview is posted above? I don't see any interview. So if you try to post a link, it didn't go because you're not a moderator. Only moderators can post links as per YouTube. No, Tony says, just rely on what Mexican dude told me. Yeah, look, the Mexican government doesn't have a good relationship with China. That's a true statement. But I find it highly suspicious to claim that by the guy that, that there's nothing from China there. Just look at anything. Pick something up. Here you go. Here's, I got this in South Africa, and let's see where this is made. I guarantee it's probably made in China. To replace the screen cover. Yep, there it is right there at the bottom. Made in China, right there. Right there, made in China. Made in China, right there. Yep, tempered glass. That's the crappy one I bought in South Africa. So, yep. I don't know why I pulled that out because it's not the right one. The right one I need is in the other place, but I need to replace. My screen's been cracked since I was in France, but I haven't replaced it because it's okay. So hang on a second here. What's going on? Somebody send me something here? Nope. Nothing there. Anyway. Alrighty, guys. Oh, man. Yeah. So, Sue, what's the interview? Please tell me who it's about and who it is because your link didn't show up. I'll be happy to address it if I can, but I need to know about it, and I'm not seeing it in the chat because you're not a mod. So, 60 likes. Some good super. Oh, I didn't realize how much super revenue chat was coming in here. Thank you all for that. That's awesome. Some awesome sauce there. Okay. All right, my video from earlier has got 1,200 views, but I think it's slowed down. Let me take a look and see. Yeah, it's slowed down. No, that's from earlier, 1,000. Come on, refresh. 1,200, okay. Yeah, so it's slowing down, 116. Anyway, yep, I did that video this morning, which, yep, I'm here and we'll send detail. Thank you, Sue. I'll wait for that before we wrap up here if it gets here quick enough. Christine Ayers is here. Welcome, Christine. Good to see you again. Yeah. I was also going through some of my stuff from my trip to South Africa, and I dug this out. I purchased this on Table Mountain, actually. Got that up on Table Mountain, a little miniature license plate for Cape Town. And I dug this out of my box from earlier. So this used to be available in exclusive books every year. South Africa at a Glance is a great resource, but I have not been able to find it. I did find it online, but the one online was pretty lame. What I always liked about this is it covered everything. Statistically, it was fantastic. Yep. So, let me go. So, let's see here. We got 2014. This is the 20th edition. South Africa Glance available. English, Arabic, French, Mandarin. Yep. So, here's the anthem. Kozizikilele Africa. Malapara kanisisu upondo Luwayo, Yizwa imlitidanzo yetu, Nkosizikilele tina isofo Luwayo. Yep. So, the publisher's note. Then you go into a map of South Africa, its national flag, its coat of arms, its national signals, the symbols, the blue crane, the protea, yellowwood, the springbok. South Africa Glance, area, population. This from a decade ago said South Africa's population was 53 million. Now it's 63 million. Annual population growth rate, the currency at the time, GDP, and then it goes into flora and fauna, economy, the year ahead, a projection, land and people, a little bit of history, population by group, total population by race, population by province, milestones in the history of South Africa. It goes on and on. There's all the provinces, communications, telecommunications, GDP, mining, foreign trade, government policy, business services, education. This is a fantastic guide. I haven't seen these things in years. I would buy it every year if I could find it, but I haven't seen it in a long time. So yeah, South Africa at a Glance. What a great resource that is to be up on South Africa. Right. Why isn't China being held accountable for flooding fentanyl of the world? Because the politicians see no benefit in it. They're not doing it. The only politician who's talked about fentanyl of any national import has been Donald Trump. Yep. My grandkids love a toy shop where we stay in Spain. It's full of thinly disguised copies, not cheap prices. Okay. When is the erection? You mean the election? The election in South Africa is in May, most likely. Ooh, the sunshine. Oh, Cole, look at that sun coming out, man. Oh, here comes the sun. Do, 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 do. Here comes the sun. It's all right. Yeah, I've had no sun here all day, and suddenly, whoa, I'm getting 6 watts. That's never happened before. 6 kilowatts per hour. I've never hit that. Oh, it just went down to 599. I've never had 6 kilowatts an hour generating. It's coming back now. Wow. 6 kilowatts per hour. There it is again. Come on. Give me the 6. 599. The sun has never been that strong. This is wintertime, February. It hit 6 kilowatts per hour. That would be crazy. 10 hours, that'd be 60 in a day. Andre says, how should the West respond to the Houthis? The Houthis? They should obliterate them. Yep. The sun is hot. Yes, Tony, that sun is hot. Yep. Addicted to the watts. Yes, Chris Wyatt is addicted to his watts. We are in the perihelion stage, the closest to the sun at this time. In the wintertime, we're closest. Oh, you mean the planet is? Yeah, no. But the northern hemisphere is not quite at the right angle. But yeah, I'm over 5 kilowatt hours. I mean, there was no sun all day. It was all nasty, and then suddenly the clouds must just went away. I mean, like, my whole mood just brightened there, getting that vitamin C. Yes, in the wintertime, says Tony. Okay. Right. So I'm still waiting to see if she's got it coming up here, Sue Walsh. So I've got to get off the air here soon. Not in the next minute or two, but soon I've got to get off. So if you've got your question, otherwise you're going to have to hold your powder for tomorrow. I did my super brew. It's done. Hopefully I win. We'll see what happens. I don't even know. Let me go look at my super brew. I tell you my super brew, but I do it at a risk. All right. Let me see real quick. Google. That's not what I want. Super brew. Let me take a look at super brew. Super brew. Okay. Let me check what my predictions are for. Okay. I got France by 5, even though I want Ireland to win. And I've got England by 15 and Scotland by 3. So, yeah, I picked France, even though I want Ireland to win. So, hey, got to go with the smart money there. So we'll see what happens there. Yep. Anyway, so that's coming up here shortly on the Rugby Ascendant channel. All righty. Cool beans. Fulton County District Attorney responds to fair allegations in the effort to disqualify her from the Trump. Well, she responded, yeah. We already heard this. This is news from an hour ago. Yep. Yep, she's trying to stay on the case. It needs to be dismissed summarily. Summarily dismissed. Summarily dismissed. Yep, unbelievable. This case against Trump is clearly a get Trump. It's lawfare, folks. It's lawfare. It's war being... here it is. Okay. It has disappeared YouTube, but I will try to get the interview detail back. Tucker Carlson interview referenced China UN reason for sending migrants to U.S. via Panama. Oh, okay, so no, it's a Tucker Carlson thing. I haven't watched Tucker Carlson since right after he went on to Twitter. The link won't be there, Sue, because you can't place a link. So, all right, I'll have to try to find that. I'm kind of swamped right now, but I'll try to take a look at it and see what is being said there, and we'll see what we can come up with there. But Tucker Carlson, I've said many, many times, is the best and practically the only major journalist and commentator who was doing investigative reporting on behalf of the people. In January of 2020, just the first few days of January after New Year's, Tucker Carlson, when I still watch Fox occasionally, I went on there and I saw him come on the program. He says, ladies and gentlemen, while everyone's staring at their navel gazing over this potential impeachment of Donald Trump, because they're still talking about the phone call, then with the impeachment for, the insurrection. This navel gazing over that, something is happening in China. It's being very secretive, but something is happening since November in a town in southern China called Wuhan. And the Chinese authorities are covering it up. And this may very well have global implications and come to the shores of the United States very soon. That was 2 weeks before the world even really paid attention and even heard of the Rona outbreak, and Tucker Carlson was on top of it. He's been on top of a lot of those stories, including the cover-up, the hiding of video footage from the Capitol building on January 6th, and that's why he lost his job, because he wouldn't kowtow to the fascist at Fox News. No problem. Just found it so interesting interviewing a scientist regarding this. Thanks for the updates. Not being able to paste the link. Yeah, no, it's a YouTube thing. I have no control over it. So if you want, I'll give you real quick. I'll give you a mod status. You'll be approved for moderator, and then you can paste the link. Okay? Because I'm gonna trust you. So Sue, I'm gonna make you a moderator right now. But go ahead and get the link for us. Okay? So add as a moderator and a standard moderator. So you are now Sue. You now have a spanner, a wrench next to your name. And you can paste the link now. Go ahead and put it in there, and then we'll find it, and that'll save us trouble trying to hunt it down later on. So Sue will be a moderator, and I'm going to take it away from you right afterwards, because in order to be a moderator to my channel, you have to agree to the terms and conditions. You have to do what I ask of moderators, a very simple one-page list of rules on how moderators operate. You also have to give me your real name, your real phone number, real email address, not on air, and that way I can actually contact you if I've got a question or something happens. But Sue, you can paste that link right now, but then you're going to lose your spanner. All right, Gabriel's here, says, I registered for the next election, so that was per your mate Ronaldo's online address. It's been a week now, and I still have not received confirmation registration. Okay, Gabriel, thanks for the news on that. I didn't know that. So, yeah, let me, I'll mention it to Ronaldo. Not that he can do anything about it, but yeah, wow. So, yeah. Anyway, coming up here shortly will be the Six Nations debut, and that is going to be Ireland and France in France. So, yep, I've got, did I print these out already? I think I did. Let me see. It's something else here that's unrelated. No, that's not it. That's unrelated stuff. Let me put that over here. I need to print this out. So, ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, good. I make sure they got the line up in the right order here. So let me print the Irish line up out. That's Ireland. I don't have the French one set up quite yet. So I was just waiting for Sue to get that link in there. Okay, and then while we're waiting for that, I'm going to get this printout ready because I haven't done it yet. Whoops, that's not right. There we go. Notification within the same hour that I registered. Well, that's interesting. Did you see that? Gabriel, did you see that? That's interesting. So, yeah, no. The thing is isn't that window closed now, though? Or is it just, I thought the window was already over, so people can't get in there any longer. So I don't know the answer on that for South Africans in the registration. I do know that here in Pennsylvania, you need to get registered if you want to vote in the upcoming primary for one of the political parties, Democrats or Republicans. I've met a few people in the past couple of days who have told me that they're not Republicans, but they've registered as a Republican so they can vote in the primary, so they can get rid of people they don't like. Woo, that was painful. Man, oh man, oh man. That was painful. Woo. There it is. Sue put it in there. Okay, Sue, I'm going to take your spanner away. Let me just see if that takes me there. Okay, got it. Okay. Oh, that's on his. Okay, that's on his channel here. Tucker only has 742,000 subscribers. That's amazing. You'd think he'd have tons more. Okay.
If you've been following.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Well, thanks for that, Sue. And now I take away your spanner. Nothing against you, Sue. Just I promise I'd do that. Oh, come on. I'll have to watch it, but I haven't got time to watch it now. Maybe over the weekend. Possibly, but I just got hit with some nonsense. I've got to fill out a clearance thing because last year I did the clearance and the people responsible for it apparently didn't bother to pursue it. So I wasted probably about 20 hours of my time last year filling out a clearance form for the U.S. government online, making sure I wasn't lying because they try to trap you all the time with information. I've done this every 5 years for the last 40 years. Anyway, I did it last year, and now they come up and say I don't have a clearance now because I didn't do the form. I'm like, you little pricks. Here's the clearance or the release that I gave last year, so they could go and check records. It's not my fault you people didn't do your job. So anyway, so I'm dealing with that now. So anyway, there's the French one. So yeah, all right, cool beans, folks. I got to wrap up here so we can go on to Rugby Ascent in just a few minutes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Fewer likes, fewer viewers, but we did do a late news, and that might explain why. Anyway, so sent from above, says Sue. Okay, thanks. All right, thanks everybody. And Christine registered on Thursday. Cool beans. All the migrants have changed course to Arizona. Yeah, they are. Well, that's you go to sanctuary state like California, it's a place to go. All right, everybody. Catch you hopefully on Rugby Ascent. You'll be automatically redirected to the Rugby Ascent channel if you want to listen to my play-by-play and color commentary of the Six Nations France versus Ireland game, which is likely to be the one that decides who wins the Six Nations this year. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here, and I'll catch you later. I'm not sure I'll do a broadcast tomorrow at all. I've got some stuff going on, so I'll let you know, but I don't think I'm doing one tomorrow. We'll do one on Sunday for the news for sure, but tomorrow, not sure it's going to happen. Cheers, everybody.